So something to consider is there's the parable of the sower is not about the seed. So we're constantly planting seeds, and these seeds will either come for fruit or they won't. Inherently, the seed is the same for everyone here. It's about which one. It's about which field the farmer works, and so or whether it stays long enough to actually see the harvest itself. So design law, what is design law? I'm not talking about laws like civic laws. What I'm actually sharing with you is about design laws, which are the constructs of the universe itself that built into reality. Our God is a God of love, liberty, truth. That is our God. And inherently, he built some constructs in reality. For example, one of them would be gravity. And there are other ones, just as real as gravity, they exist. Whether we agree with it or not, it exists. We can be a really good person. We can give lots of money. We can do lots of things. But gravity is impartial to what we do in life. There are constructs of reality, and these are design laws. And one of the design laws is you reap what you sow. That means if you sow things and you do good efforts, things of that nature, you will reap. Or if you do nothing, you'll reap that as well. Okay, it's not a punishment. It's just the way that the construct of reality works. So we scatter seeds, and scattering fruit. And this is not a discipline problem. What we've got here is a violation of how God built how God built reality. And so, then how will you understand any of them? Okay, this is the parable. Don't you understand this parable? Then how will you understand any of them? And context-wise, is that Jesus spoke a lot in parables. And he did that because oftentimes you have to speak in stories for people to comprehend what you're sharing. And otherwise, sometimes it flies right over their heads at times. So this is the problem. So we live in an age of seed scattering, which is people are scattering lots of seeds, a little bit here, a little bit there. Okay, they are copying people. Watch this ministry. The pattern that's going on is when the old gets hard, the sower doesn't work. The whole countryside, he worked his field. So how does this pertain to us? What I'm sharing was that each one of us there's a difference between assignments and invitations. An assignment is something that is from our Creator, God, Christ. And it's clear, and our Creator knows us better than we know ourselves. And inherently, there are things in life that are our assignments, which is like God says, hey, show up for this person. Do this. It's what God knows is going to be best for you and that other person. How do we know ourselves if we don't know our Creator? But once we know our Creator, then we know that our Creator has our best interest, because our Creator has the character of love, liberty, and truth, and that's his character. Then therefore, he might have certain assignments for you that is basically your purpose, because he knows that's what gives you fulfillment. And there could also be what's called invitations, which are distractions. So our life is constantly filled with moments to either accept the invitations, okay, that God is assigning for us, or simply be distracted by, accept the assignments that he gives us, or to be distracted by invitations. I know in my life that if I said yes to every birthday invitation or every party invitation, I'd be distracted from the real assignments that God has us do. And so we look for the field that we're supposed to plow and not be distracted by so many invitations, because a man reaps what he sows. The question I have is, what field has God actually assigned to you? Something to consider. It could be just, picking up the phone and chatting with someone. That's what's assigned for you. Versus scrolling YouTube or scrolling Instagram. Those are generally invitations. Every moment is neither an assignment or an invitation. So, are you working with it? And I found in my own life that the more I listen to what the assignments are, the better my life gets. And I don't listen to a voice of obligation. It's just because I know the Creator loves me. And if I do what I'm assigned to do, generally it brings me where I'm supposed to go in life to give me the deepest level of fulfillment. Because the Creator knows what fulfills me better than I know what fulfills me myself. Oftentimes there's things I wanted in my life that if I would have messed my life up pretty good. So what about him? Peter just received his calling from Jesus. This is that moment. This is in the scriptures. He looks sideways at John. Okay? And in that moment, but what about him? What about him? How come But Jesus, what about that guy? Okay? So it's so easy for us to sometimes go, yeah, but look at this person. They're doing this. Maybe I should be doing this, and get distracted by all that stuff. But the redirect is this. What's that to you? Sometimes I'll get on a seminar and there's lots of people everywhere, and I want to please everybody, but I only have one audience member, and that's Christ, God. So we only have one audience member in our life. Okay, and when you do what that audience member wants, that's it. Everything that becomes the assignment. Follow me. Peter wasn't rebellious. He wasn't distracted. He was looking at another farmer's field while his own waited. So why do we compare? It doesn't come from courage. It comes often, I know from my life, it comes from insecurity, fear of not being enough, fear of not doing enough. So where are we watching someone else's field instead of working our own? Where are we doing that in our lives? And I know sometimes I do that myself. It's like, oh, I could be doing more. Maybe I should be in front of a mega church, raising lots of money and stuff like that. No, I'm just here. We're doing what we're here to do. Okay? And basically, Andrew found Peter, brought him to Jesus. That was his assignment. Then he stepped back. Peter becomes a headliner. Andrew never did. But he did what he was here to do. Andrew's secret, he didn't fight. He just knew his field. He just knew his assignment. He worked it faithfully. And it changed history forever. We wouldn't be here today. The right question to ask is not, why does God use them more than me? The question is, am I faithfully working the field I was giving? So what's your field? What's our field? And are we working it? So the kingdom of God doesn't need more traffic. It needs settlers. People who received their assignments, whatever that assignment was, and planted it themselves and built everything they have. They stay, they stop, they stay, and they build. So just think about, what is some silence? This world's filled with so much noise, and discerning between signal versus noise allows us to keep our attention on the signal, which is God itself, to make sure we are on assignment. Which field is mine right now? So what is your field?